Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sallystampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my small Ferrero hinged box. So as you can see, it's quite a dinky little box and it has a little hinge lid that holds a little Ferrero. I did make a hinged lidded box, not this January just gone, but the one before last year. Bigger than this one, so I thought it would be quite cute to make something a little smaller that housed a Ferrero. This gorgeous paper and this lovely sentiment is from the Hues of Happiness suite. So it consists of this gorgeous stamp set with these really pretty sentiments with the lovely little flourishes on the end, lovely floral images. Excuse me. Then it has the Blossoming Happiness dies, which, as you can see, we have coordinating dies for the stamps. We have this really pretty pattern here, these edged pattern pieces here as well. So I think they're really pretty. I love those. We have the Glossy Dots assortment, again, as you can see, super pretty. They are just so shiny, so glossy. They really are nice. Lovely colours as well. I think they're really pretty. And then we have, excuse me, goodness, then we have the DSP, which again, as I said, is super pretty. There are, as you can see, I've already used quite a bit of it, but it really is just wonderful. As you can see, there's like a double effect going on, but they sort of blend together really quite well. I love that. Crisscross rainbows on the back. Then we have this sort of striped rainbow of flowers, and this has like a watercolour rainbow on the reverse. That's the same one. Then we have this lovely one, and I believe, I haven't tried, but I believe some of the dies coordinate with these flowers too, which is fabulous. And this has a lovely blue background with these, again, I sort of call them rainbow pattern sort of flowers. That's gorgeous. This one, again, really pretty flowers, sort of a watercolour rainbow on the back. These will be die cut as well. Really pretty. And this has the purple and blues watercolour. And then last but not least, we have this gorgeous one, and again, pinks and yellows. So a real variety of colours and tastes there, which, as I say, I've already used quite a bit of them because I do think they are just lovely. Right, so let's get on and make my project. I have made this, tried to make this video once before and then realised that I'd messed it up completely. In fact, I haven't even cut my white bit, so just bear with me a second while I just move that and grab some basic white. So for your insert, you will need a piece of basic white that is 1 3/4 by 6 1/4, 16.5 by 6.5 centimetres. Okay, so at least it's easy and quick for me to cut some basic white. And then you are going to score the long side at 1.5, 3, 4.5 and 6. And in centimetres it will be 4, 8, 12 and 16. Simple as that. We're then going to fold and burnish those score lines. Make sure your card does stay straight. Sorry, I literally just got back from walking the dog, so I'm a little bit sort of hot and my mouth's a little bit dry. But as you know, needs must, we need to get these videos done. So add some adhesive on that little thin strip there, if your adhesive's actually going to come out of the tube. So I'm just going to fold that over there. That's it. And then I'm just going to pop a peg on it just to hold it in place whilst we do the base. So for the base, you need a piece that's 6.5 by 2 2 13/16. So I apologise, but you will need to use your, oh dear, trimmer for this one. So it's easier for you to see, I'm going to actually use my scoring tool. Yeah, I do this quite often. I just find it easier and quicker. So on the short side, we're going to score at, so it's 16.5 by 2 13/16, which is 16.9 by 8.2 centimetres. You're going to score the short side at 1 1/4 inches, which will be 4 centimetres. And then going to rotate anti-clockwise. This is where I made my mistake the other day doing it. Anti-clockwise, and then, so you've just got your thinner section at the top, and we're going to score at 1 9/16. So it's the mark just before the 3/4 sign. So I'm going to score at that. 3 1/8, that's relatively easy. 4 11/16. So it's again one before, that seems wrong. No, that's definitely not right. Sorry, let me start again. 1 9/16. So it's the one after the halfway sign, and then 3 1/8. Oh, that's a bit random, but it works. 4 11/16. And 6 1/4. And then in centimetres, which is far easier, it's 4.1, 8.2, 12.3 and 16.4. I don't know why centimetres are easier, they just are. So we're going to fold and burnish all of your score lines, obviously ensuring that you get the correct one when doing this, and I'm fairly certain it's that one. Okay, then again, as I said, the largest squares are the base, so we're going to cut up each one all the way across to the end, and then you're going to get rid of this skinny section here, and then we're going to pop our DSP on. So you need 4 pieces. That will be 1 by 1 5/16, or 3.5 by 3.7. I am just going to use some of my seal here, just because this will be a bit quicker. So I'm just going to pop those on here. I think what I like most about this paper is, like, you can add it onto here, and because the colours are so different, there's not really any of them that will be the same next to each other, if that makes sense. Oh, she says, famous last words. I thought this was a blue one, that's why. Never mind. Okay, so once we've done all that, we're going to add some adhesive to our seam here, and I'm using wet glue this time just because it's quite a small slither there to put adhesive on, but it'll be okay because that will hold quite nicely. And then with that being the back, I'm going to pop the sides in, but I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive just to hold it all in place. And then obviously the last one is the front. Pop that over and press it down. Then bring in your little white insert, and I'm putting the seams at the same point here, so they're both in this corner here, and this should now just nicely sit inside, and that gives you your lip here as well. But to keep that in place, I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the sides there. Obviously don't go too high up because you don't want it up on the top parts here, and then once it's in, you can just get your bone folder, press it down on the 4 sides, and it will just sort of spread the glue around. So that is your base and insert made. You then need a piece for your lid. So my lid is unfortunately 2 9/16 by 2 9/16, or 6.3 by 6.3. And I can use my scoring board for this one because we're simply going to score at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. You don't need a shim because it's going to literally sit on top because you've got that insert, so you don't need that. Then we're going to fold and burnish those score lines. And then we're going to cut some teeny weeny tabs for the corners. And then you're going to have to put some teeny weeny DSP on as well, I'm afraid. Oops. Okay, so once you've cut those little bits out there, we're then going to add some DSP. So I've got a piece for the top here, and this one is 1 5/16 by 1 5/16, or 3.6 by 3.6, and oops, not quite central. And these teeny weeny bits here, which I'm actually going to grab my silicone mat for, and I think actually I am going to use wet glue on these again just because they're quite thin. So these are 1/4 inch by 1 5/16, or 0.6 centimetres by 3.6. So they are tiny, but worth it, trust me. And at least with this paper as well, you don't need to worry about a pattern or direction per se, because you can just stick them on as they are. So I'm just going to pop those on. Okay, fabulous with that. Pop that on. And then I'm just going to pop some adhesive on those parts there. And I'm going to use my pegs just to hold this in place. Again, just because they're so small, really. So I went shopping with my daughter this morning. She wanted some new clothes and things. And I went into this one shop and they just had so many craft supplies. Now obviously I love Stampin' Up, but one thing that I did spot was a bag of pegs. Little craft pegs. And I thought, oh, they would, and I thought, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, so you can literally get, and I think this was it was a store called The Works, which is in the UK, and it just basically had so many different things, from crafting with MDF and painting and clay, and then it had jigsaws and books, and just one of those shops that had just everything in it. But yeah, my daughter was looking at the books, I was looking at the craft stuff, of course. Right, so I'm going to leave that set for a moment because I now need a little bit of white for my sentiment and another piece of coordinating cardstock for your hinge, for your lid. And this will be 1.5 by 2.5 inches, or 4 by 7. And then we're going to do just a little bit of scoring just to assist our folding at 1.5 and 2 inches, or 4 and 5 centimetres. The way I found doing this, you're literally going to be folding your first score line nearest the big section, if you like, is going to go over towards you, but you're going to concertina. Okay, so you're almost doing that sort of a Z shape just to fold them that way. Okay, and then what we're going to do is, in fact, I'm going to quickly stamp my sentiment just whilst I'm waiting for this all to dry. I'm not sure if Pool Party might be too light on here, but we'll see. I went again with just a simple word friend because I quite liked that. Photopolymer, so you can actually see through the stamp, see where you're going. Oh no, I quite like that actually. Okay, and then I simply fussy cut this. I started at the base and just went round the F like so, and then I actually just went straight across the base, and then I went around. Now I did cut off some of this nice swirl at the end, and that was just because of it fitting on the box. And then I just literally went back in and did the same again. Around the dot for the eye, around the top for the word friend, and then again just snipped off that part there and round. So I've just done that nice little bit there, and then actually you can just get mini dimensionals just on there without them being seen, which I think is wonderful. So I'm just going to tuck that one in there. Right, let's take the back off this, take my pegs off here, turn this over, and I'm going to pop this one on the top, just press through the inside the dimensionals down, and then your Z extended top piece here, and to add some adhesive to this part of your piece here, and this actually sits in your box. So if you do have a front, so this is my front here, your hinge needs to come out of the back like so. So it's just going to sit in the lid. It's more really so it doesn't get seen. If you want to add a bit in here, then obviously you can, just a tiny bit in there. And then the last part, again, if you've got a front, remember where your seams are, we're actually going to add a bit of adhesive, and I'm not going too crazy with this, and I'll show you why. This tucks in between the coloured and the basic white, and again that's another reason why I don't glue all the way down, but equally when you slide this in you don't want to push all the glue out, so I'm literally just sliding it in, and it will just go to the edge of the box. And then of course, oh, nearly forgot, pop my chocolate in, and then hopefully, just without catching the bits inside. Now I have got a little bit of a white lip going on here. You can trim the white down a fraction, either with some scissors or you can cut it down beforehand, make all your pieces up and then trim it. But I actually quite like it because I think it just looks quite smart. I did do a centimetre version. For some reason it's slightly taller, like considerably taller. I don't quite know why, but the actual box itself is pretty much the same size, but I did do the centimetre version. So there it is. There you have my small Ferrero hinged box. Hope you like it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.